damn morning. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I see what happened. I was like, well, how'd that happen? I forgot. Gunfox did that this morning. Hey, how you doing? Happy Wednesday. It's Hump Day and also Woke Wednesday. But today the news is kind of all over the place, not just woke shit. So, we'll see how it goes. Anyway, I'm glad y'all are here. I hope you're having a good morning. I am. And I'm bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and ready to go. Let's real quick, though. I want to thank our first sponsor today. And that would be, what the hell's going on here? Hang on. Let me fix this because there's always something. It's always something on this show. There we go. Let's fix that. And let's do the do not disturb so I don't get any inadvertent noises. All right. Gunfox61.
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor.
Thank you
the
so
day.
much. I'll even play the little thing over again because you are the Streamlabs Superstar doing it today. Hey, Gunfox with the almost $5 says, resist and fight. Do not give an inch or the commie bastards will take a mile. Higher gas prices and food coming soon. Minimum 10% as high and 50% as China bubbles start to break. Buy American, boycott made in China. Somebody made a good point to me the other day, and thank you again, Gunfox61, for sponsoring the show, like you often do. Someone made this point on one of my text message threads with a bunch of buddies of mine. Where there's about 12 of us on one thread, and we've been texting on this thread for almost 6 years now. And one of them made a good point. Hey, you know what? Goods don't get bogged down in the supply chain and the ports and the ocean, whatever. American-made products, but sometimes not even that's true because a lot of American-made products use foreign components. But if we fix that problem, and maybe that would help, but it doesn't help other people in the world. We got to fix the whole mess, if you ask me. But anyway, now what did I do? Oh, shoot. Well, I know who was first, so I'll make sure I do that correctly. First in the chat today, let's just say good morning to everybody. Thank you again, Gunfox, for sponsoring the show. Let's say good morning to everyone in the chat. Now, I know that Richo was first. Somehow when I changed it from live chat to top chat, it got messed up. But, Richo, you are first and you get the bell. Thank you for being here, of course. As always, I appreciate you, my friend from down under. Also, good morning, Advocatus Diablo, the Devil's Advocate, Select a Boy.
Yeah,
also,
boy.
Good morning, Jonathan Peterson. Good morning, Aaron Meredith. Hello to People's Front of Canada. Aaron Meredith. Tyler F's in the house. Gunfox61, of course. Also, good morning to, I'm scrolling because I kind of messed this up. Good morning, Mike Savage, Blarg. Good morning, Dom O'Leary. Hello to, I said Dom O'Leary. Special K on Acids in the house. How you doing? Also, good morning to, Nobody Not Me is here. Buster's Outlaws is here. Good to see you, Buster. Also, good morning to, I'm sorry. If I missed you because you were here before the old, before I got things going, I like I said, there's other people here, but I kind of messed some shit up. So anyway, it says there's 13 here, and I'm assuming that those 13 were the people I said good morning to. So hello, everybody. Thanks again, Gunfox61. And appreciate you with another donation. Thank you for sponsoring the show. Who also says, more the R word where people are forced to have sex. Cases out of London. Oh, London County schools by the same transgender kid. 5 more cases found. Holy shiz. If you got a link, Gunfox, put it in the chat. I'd like to catch up on that. That seems to be some breaking news. Also in the breaking news department. Oh, Alyssa Milano's trending on Twitter. What the hell is she trending for? Let me take a look at this. I have to know why Alyssa Milano's trending, because she's one of the dumbest people on the planet. Oh, it won't let me do it. Apparently you can't. If she's trending, it's not letting me. It says something went wrong. So, well, it's Alyssa Milano, so that's no surprise. Let's see if I can go to home of Twitter. Okay. Anyway, some of the breaking news that has come out today. In-N-Out Burger, you're familiar with if you're from the West Coast or anywhere west of Colorado. I don't know if they have them in Colorado. I know they have in Nevada, Utah, Arizona, California, and such. In-N-Out Burger, very popular West Coast hamburger chain. Very good, and one of my favorite. When I go to California or Las Vegas, I always have to have at least one In-N-Out Burger on the trip because I love their burgers. But anyway, apparently in the city of San Francisco, the In-N-Out Burger has been shut down because they are not enforcing a vaccination verification requirement that the city is requiring upon restaurants. And so here's their response, and I just happen to have just one of them right here, and I'll put it on the screen. Josie, who is Josie used to be redheaded libertarian, but anyway, Queen Josie said, here's their response. We refuse to become the vaccination police for any government. We fiercely disagree with any government dictate that forces a private company to discriminate against customers who choose to patronize their business. All I have to say to the In-N-Out Burgers management, there it was, is you are my hero. You are my hero. It's not private business's job to enforce government laws. Now granted, maybe the no shoes, no shirt, no service is kind of enforcing a government law. I don't know. It's interesting. It's they're forcing people to discriminate. Anyway, real quick too. I saw Jedi Ghost Bears in the house. Nice to see you. Jimmy from Philly's here. Good morning, Renee Mayette. Good morning, Scotty Dubs. Good to have you all here. Jimmy, have you gotten your channel back? Have you gotten are you off your little fake stupid ass suspension? I don't know. Anyway, also good morning, Gunfox61 for sponsoring the show again. You are a prolific today. He says 400,000 plus more people heading to the U.S. as Biden administration moves tens of thousands of illegals by air all over the nation without saying or telling anyone, as well as paying them and giving them free health care. Yeah, you know what? What the hell are they actually doing down there, man? They're not doing their damn job. They're just not. There are lots more people headed to the border because they're not enforcing it, and they say they are. They say they're going to try to go back to that Mexico policy, which is really only because a judge has forced them to. Somebody pointed that out to me. Good thing. It's just nonsense. Good morning, Jesse Leon, by the way. But burgers cure COVID. I'm sure Fauci has said so at some point, seeing as how he has said about everything else. Not letting them sell burgers is murder. Yeah, that's what the hell did I do there? Oh, well, that was a delayed reaction from the crowd. Yes, that is funny. No, Jimmy didn't get banned. Jimmy just got a content strike for hate speech. Did you appeal that, by the way? I hope you appealed it, and hopefully they've let up on you, man. I haven't seen you online for a while, so I wasn't sure. Anyway, I'm glad you're here, Jimmy. So that's what's going on with In-N-Out Burger. Also, let's see, what are some other quick trends on Twitter before we get into it? Let's see, because there was a couple things. Oh, wow, something's wrong with Twitter. Something's wrong with Twitter. You can't do that. Okay, you can't do that. The notifications are all screwed up. Let's see what else is wrong on Twitter. Wait a minute. Is that redundant? Is that like, isn't it harder to figure out what's right on Twitter? Let's see. Matt Welsh, we have been debating Dave Chappelle for 3 weeks because he said only women can give birth. That seems to be... Doesn't that seem to be self-explanatory? I don't know. Oh, wow. Someone here ruling on the me for... Okay, okay, there's a whole bunch going on with Twitter that's messed up. So I'm just gonna get off of Twitter for a second because there's obviously they're having some issues. Either that or my internet's having some issues. Can you guys hear me okay? It says I'm having an excellent connection. I don't know. Jimmy's just spreading wiped pride worldwide. Okay. Wipe pride. All right. You know what? I'm really bummed that I can't get this to work. Is it just, I'm hoping it's just Twitter. Oh, now it seems to be working. Oh boy, people are starting to hoard at supermarkets too. People are hoarding. Supermarkets are the next supply chain crush. I'll open the Zero Hedge article too. All right, let's get into the news that I already have open, and then if I want to figure out some more stuff, we'll get to that. Just a reminder, you are the sponsors of the show. Please like the show by hitting the like button at some point during the show if you like what we do. Also, share the stream anytime before, during, or after the show. Every little bit helps. And if you want to sponsor the show, you can do that through SuperChats and or Streamlabs. If you watch the show, let me see. In fact, I'm going to do this today. I'm going to open up the show on PDawgKnight Live just to see just to show you what it looks like. If you've never seen it, here we are, and I open DuckDuckGo here. Here we go, PDawgKnight.live, which is right there. And this is what it looks like when you watch the show on PDawgKnight.live. Now, you got this little sponsor thing up here, but as you'll notice, if the page ever opened, this has something to do with my internet. Notice the chat goes right there, and you can watch the show right here, and I'll just open it up. Here we are, and I open DuckDuckGo. All right, you can watch the show on PDawgKnight.live. You can participate in the chat on PDawgKnight.live. And if you want to sponsor the show, there you go. It's right there in the upper right-hand corner. You can watch the show. If you got some inspiration, click there, and that's how it works. It's one-stop shopping. When also, then you don't have to give Susan your 30% or her 30% when you give it to her. So there you go. Watch the show on PDawgKnight.live, and you can watch everything live as it happens. It is a beautiful fucking thing. All right. Let's get into the news, because again, today it's kind of random. I got a lot of stuff off the Discord server. I got a lot of stuff off of Twitter and Parler and Gab, and I didn't get anything off of Gab. And I was just, by the way, in my links today, D.I. Freighter Watcher had put a link to a video on the Discord server of a lightning storm over Lake Superior. Kind of a cool video. In fact, I'll pull it up here for a second, and this one, it'll be in the links. Good morning, Deos. How you doing? It'll be in the links today if you want to watch it. I mean, it's 15 minutes of this storm, but it's actually kind of cool to watch. I'll give you let me give you a 30-40 second preview here. This is on Lake Superior out of the Duluth Harbor, and when she puts her name D.I. Freighter Watcher, this is what she likes to see. So here you go. Here's just a lightning storm over the Duluth Harbor. 2 lighthouses here. I was actually on this pier. I've been on this pier several times, by the way. But this is where the giant. Isn't that cool? Look at that. This is where the giant cargo ships come into Duluth Harbor. Duluth Harbor is a very, very busy port, and because they have a lot of the ships in the Great Lakes, some of them are too big to even leave the locks on the east end of the Great Lakes, but they ship all kinds of stuff through the Great Lakes, through this harbor, and then they truck it out from there in trains and whatnot. So anyway, that link will be in the single link in the description. Everything we do here, I try to put links in the description for everything in a single link called a one-tab link in the second paragraph of the description, and I will have that updated during the outro, and I'll let you know when it's completely updated, or you can just come back if you want to come back and look at any of the stories we go over, or use them for your own shows or videos or blogs or whatever you do outside of this place. They will be there. So All right, let's get into it. And the title of this is a lot of this is random today because there was some funny things and there's some stuff off the Discord server and stuff. This one in particular, though, I had to name the show after it because, the phenomenon of Let's Go Brandon is really, really, really taking off. And in fact, there is a rapper by the name of, what's his name? His name is Loza Alexander. Loza Alexander made a song from the Let's Go Brandon chants. Now, we know it wasn't really Let's Go Brandon. It's fuck Joe Biden. But that song, Let's Go Brandon, the rap tune by Loza Alexander, shot to the top of the hip-hop charts temporarily over the weekend. It's freaking hilarious. And I could not help but laugh. Good morning, Wikipedia Snippet. Good morning, Sora Luna. I could not help but laugh, but here it is. The anti-President Biden rap song inspired by the viral Let's Go Brandon trend is now sitting atop of the iTunes hip-hop chart. The song performed by rapper Loza Alexander and entitled Let's Go Brandon went viral on TikTok before making a fast rise up the iTunes hip-hop charts to cinch the #1 spot. The song was inspired by the Let's Go Brandon trend that has been sweeping the country since NBC Sports reporter Kelly Stavis interviewed NASCAR driver Brandon Brown following his victory at Alabama's Talladega Superspeedway earlier this month. During the interview, the crowd could be heard chanting, "Fuck Joe Biden" in the background, which Stavis seemingly misheard as Let's Go Brandon. Oh, wait a minute. Now, let me just stop here and help you understand how the language of this article, even though I think it was a Fox News reporter, even though it's in Yahoo News, let me just, how even the language of this this article is somewhat propagandistic, okay? Let's now, when he says the song was inspired by the Let's Go Brandon trend that has been sweeping the country, now, is it just me, or is it not a Let's Go Brandon trend, but a fuck Joe Biden trend, okay? It's not... It's not a Let's Go Brandon trend, but even though people are using that language to kind of as a what do you call it, a subterfuge to using the actual what was actually being said, but they don't, anyway. So and then this other part, which Stavis seemingly misheard as Let's Go Brandon. Do you think she really misheard that? Do you think she really didn't know what those people were yelling in the background? I don't know. Anyway, by the way, I do have a cup of reparations coffee here, which is the Resist Fascism cup, and you know how that goes. Anyway, I think it's hilarious. And the interview, okay, so then there's this, that viral video going viral on social media inspired the Let's Go Brandon substitute that some people use for F Joe Biden. Marty, Let's Go Brandon is a meme. Yes, I know it's a meme. It is a meme trend. In fact, I was going to make my own Let's Go Brandon t-shirt that I was going to sell on PDawgKnight.live. I just haven't gotten to it. I've been a pretty busy guy lately. Anyway, now here's the problem with that though. So it went up the iTunes charts very quickly. #1 on iTunes for a short moment in time. However, this morning I found out that TikTok has threatened to censor the Let's Go Brandon song for harassment and bullying. What? What? What?
That's crazy!
I'm just harassment and bullying.
How dare you?
Oh my gosh. So from InfoWars and from the Discord server, a popular new song containing the viral anti-Biden Let's Go Brandon meme faces potential removal by TikTok for harassment and bullying. Yeah, that is real. After the track by rapper Loza Alexander soared up the Apple Music hip hop charts and rap chart over the weekend, it also began to go viral on TikTok, receiving over 500,000 likes. And that's when the thought police stepped in. The TikTok has threatened to remove my Let's Go Brandon viral video that is approaching the #1 spot on iTunes top hip hop records. TikTok is claiming that I'm bullying, but how? How the hell? Who is he bullying? That's what I want to know. Did they say that he's bullying the president of the United States? Really? That's some serious punching up. Although, could it be that he's bullying the reporter or Brandon, whatever his name himself? I don't know. Anyway, here it is, showing the content violation. Appeal received. We'll send you a notification as soon as we have an update. And for harassment and bullying. That's hilarious. The message from TikTok says the song is being investigated for the content violation and containing harassment and bullying. Apparently, the new social media benchmark for bullying is making fun of the president of the United States. In enforcing its rule, TikTok is merely mirroring its communist. Okay, this is the InfoWars commentary. Enforcing its such a rule, TikTok is merely mirroring its communist Chinese censorship, easy for me to say, system, which also blocks content that lambasts or ridicules President Xi Jinping. Let's Go Brandon the video below. Now, I do have a link to the Let's Go Brandon video. I'm not going to play it just for probably get a music strike or something, but it is pretty funny that TikTok is threatening the song. Now, interesting. So Tyler Durden also put this on Zero Hedge. This says it was authored by Paul Joseph Watson. Did Paul Joseph Watson write this? Oh yeah, he did. Okay, I got you. All right, so there you go. Real quick, thank you to Rai Deos. Nice to have you back watching the show live. It's great to see you again. And thank you for donating to the show. Appreciate you sponsoring the show today. Who says, looks like oh, damn. Okay, I'm reacting before I even read this. Looks like China's protecting their main door into the U.S. Oh, that is some truth right there. That's true.
Come on, man.
You know what I mean. Come on, man. Anyway, so anyway, it's the same article from as InfoWars. So anyway, now more on this song though, because here's I forgot about this. I don't know if you saw this, but apparently Joe Biden is beginning to get a little annoyed by the Let's Go Brandon thing, and this is actually back from 9/11, September 11th. And here's apparently, because this is going on at college football games, it's going on at big events. And, you just bought a Let's Go Brandon shirt from Jimmy Dore. Oh, cool. I'll have to check out his stuff. Maybe I can get one over there. So this was from, just a little over a month ago. For all the talk Donald Trump having a thin skin, Joe Biden is probably worse. It was the 20th anniversary of the heinous 9/11 attacks this weekend, and he decided to make it about himself. He obviously knows about the F Joe Biden chants heard around college football games across the country. He's also obviously seen more than a sign or two from Trump supporters as he visited disaster-struck portions of the country after Hurricane Ida. So here he is. Here's what he was saying on 9/11, and I had not seen this clip, but I'll play it for you now. Let's see. It's full screen that. There you go. Here's Joe Biden on 9/11, referencing the Let's Go Brandon, the Fuck Joe Biden chants. Good morning, Cracked, by the way. Here he is.
The point is, what I'm thinking about today is what these people who, and I've got a small piece of one of the beams they gave me last time, or not last time, but how many times ago. and the flag they gave me. And I'm thinking of, you know, what...
Now remember, this is 9/11. And here's what he decides to talk about on 9/11. Apparently, it's getting to him.
What are the people who died? What would they be thinking? They think this makes sense for us to be doing this kind of thing where you ride down the street and someone has a sign saying F so-and-so? Or, I mean, it's not who we are.
Huh. Now that's fascinating. Is that fascinating to you that he's worried about, when you go down the street and there's people holding signs that's F so-and-so, F so-and-so? Did this man ever move about the country during the prior president's term? Did you hear any songs, or did you hear anyone saying things like, fuck Donald Trump, fuck Donald Trump, fuck Donald Trump, Donald Trump? Did you ever watch any of the signs at any of the protests? Is Joe Biden just not self-aware? Or is it just because he has such a thin skin? Poor Brandon. Poor Brandon. So anyway, as I said, there will be a bookmark to the Brandon, the Let's Go Brandon theme song, YouTube video here. It'll be in the tabs down below. All right. Yeah, exactly. Did he say that when people were saying fuck Donald Trump or fuck Trump? Yeah. Welcome to, here, I'll just be Donald Trump. Welcome to my world. Yeah. So anyway, I'm sure he thought it was just as catchy as could be. Did he ever see the Snoop Dogg's video where Snoop Dogg basically murders a version of Donald Trump? I probably shouldn't even say that word. Anyway, let's move on into news now. That wasn't the only story from InfoWars that was on the server today. I pulled a couple of stories from the server, and this was interesting because I hadn't seen this, and maybe I'm behind, but apparently one of the, as you know, Colin Powell passed away from complications from COVID and major complications from another ailment he was already fighting. Former Surgeon General blames unvaccinated Americans for the death of Colin Powell. Really? Now, just seeing the headline alone, I'm thinking to myself, how many unvaccinated Americans did Colin Powell hang around? I'm just curious. I'm sure that Colin Powell was running around in circles of completely vaccinated people. But anyway, despite him being 84 years old with an impaired immune system as a result of fighting blood cancer, former Surgeon General Jerome Adams blamed the death of Colin Powell on unvaccinated America. That is fascinating. It was announced yesterday that Powell had died from COVID-19 despite being double vaccinated. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Despite being double vaccinated? Wait a minute. Shouldn't that have saved his life? And I'm not going to be disrespecting Colin Powell, even though I think that whole yellow cake thing was probably not a really good thing for Colin Powell's legacy. If you're not sure what yellow cake is, look up Colin Powell and yellow cake. By the way, hello, Rusty Shack. How you doing? And also infamous one. Nice to see you. Instead of asking whether the fact that Powell being double jabbed raised questions about the long-term efficacy of the vaccine, Adams simply went straight to blaming the unvaccinated. Again, how many people did Colin Powell had hang around that weren't vaccinated? I'm just curious in terms of his passing and how he would want it understood. What do you say about the idea that Powell passing while being vaccinated is proof that the vaccination is not necessary? Adams was asked by CNN host Chris Grabass Cuomo. It's absolutely untrue, responded Adams. We've got people out there who are in the vaccine-resistant crowd. We've got people who have completely different agendas that have nothing to do with vaccines. As you mentioned, well, here, let's listen to this jackass.
Thing of him battling an advanced form of cancer and Parkinson's disease. And that's not just intellectually dishonest. It's proof of somebody who doesn't want to make things better, except for themselves.
Oh, is it proof, Chris? Is it proof? Go fuck yourself.
And their fortunes. Let's bring in former U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Jerome Adams.
Yeah, let's do
welcome
that.
back to Primetime. And, you know, I'm sorry for your loss.
And I feel bad, too, that this guy... Well, never mind. This is Jerome Adams, who is the Surgeon General of Donald Trump, anyway.
I'm sorry.
Your loss? How the fuck is it his loss? He's not related to Colin Powell. The fuck you talking about, Cuomo? Unless he lost somebody else that I'm not hearing, understanding about.
Sorry for the loss of your mentor. And I'm sure, as well as you knew him...
Colin Powell is his mentor? How'd that happen? How did the Surgeon General, who's not necessarily, I mean, yes, he's in the military, but how the fuck is Colin Powell his mentor? I don't know. Maybe I just don't know the relationship between Jerome Powell or Jerome, whatever the hell his name's, Adams and Colin Powell.
You could imagine his reaction to people trying to spin the conditions of his demise as some kind of proof about vaccines, one, being something that should be, skeptical about. But we'll get to that.
You could imagine his reaction to people who would say his demise should be blamed on any unvaccinated Americans. I wonder what his reaction to that would be. Let's hear him do it.
You lost a mentor and a man who meant a lot to you. What do you want the audience to know about why Powell was so special to you?
Well, thanks for having me on and allowing me to talk a little bit about General Powell. I came from a military family. I grew up idolizing Colin Powell. I didn't care what party he was a part of. I just cared that he was someone who looked like me, standing next to the President of the United States.
For fuck's sake.
And even in the current administration, the most diverse ever, it's still rare, incredibly rare to see a black man, someone from a group that is more likely to be incarcerated than to be in medical school, being highlighted by the White House.
This is weird coming from a Trump appointee, but remember, Trump didn't appoint people necessarily for their political affiliations. This is interesting. This is an interesting talk already.
That's why representation matters. Colin Powell, he paved the way for all black people, Democrats, Republicans, independents, to be able to be in these high-profile government positions like Secretary of State.
I don't disagree with him here either. I'm just saying it's odd to hear him making this an important part of, this is part of Powell's legacy, certainly. For black Americans, it's just, seeing someone in that position who is, of African descent is, it's while it's not the be-all, end-all, it is, it is, I guess, important. I mean, yeah, good point. Condoleezza Rice, yes, was already there. There's other people. So, anyway, let's see.
Like Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, like Surgeon General. And I think about that every single time someone asks me, why did you stay? I think about Colin Powell. I think about the fact that had he not stayed, and one of the things that he and I often talked about
had he not stayed, they had a big thing about yellow cake uranium in the second Gulf War. Anyway, real quick, thank you, Scotty Dubs. I'm sure it's going to pop up here musically in a second. Oh, there it is. Scotty Dubs, thank you for sponsoring the show through YouTube Super Chat, who contributes the thought mentor in how to be a lying war criminal. Oh, snap. Oh, snap. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Damn. That's cold, Scotty. That's cold. But, sometimes the truth is served cold.
Was that how he was often ridiculed, was often talked down to because he was part of a Republican administration.
Oh, you mean Democrats treated him like shit? Democrats treated a black man like shit, just like they treated Jerome Adams like shit. You're talking down to a black man. You know that, right? The Democrats. Oh, sorry, I missed it.
When you're the first or the second to do something, there aren't many people you can go to for guidance. And I was blessed.
Wrong. That's not true. You can still go to the people who are there before you for guidance, or you can go to people if it has to be dealing with other things that aren't related to your job. Then you find other people who are in similar positions in other parts of the world. There's not just because you're the second black attorney general doesn't mean you only have to go to Jocelyn Elders to get advice about the children. Okay, you can go to the prior Surgeon General. You can go to you know what would be a good person to bounce some ideas off of if you're a black Surgeon General and you want to talk to someone about just things being in high positions as a black man. There's another person in your administration named Ben Carson who could probably give you some guidance on how to deal with racist Democrats who are giving you shit because you're not in the right place at the right time in the right position in the right administration. So you don't necessarily have to go to the same position. Fucking baby. Anyway, real quick, thanks to Rideos for another sponsorship of the show. Stop saying people that look like me. There are plenty of European-looking women in politics that I don't want representing myself as a woman. Like I should have voted for Hillary because of us both having a uterus. Madness. Straight up. Ain't that the truth? Thank you to Rideos. You deserve that round of applause. Exactly. So there.
I truly was blessed that General Powell, at one of my lowest points, when I was being attacked by all sides, reached out to me.
Oh, okay.
And he said, he believed in tough
All
medicine.
right, now, if General Powell reached out to him, good on General Powell. And that tells you a little bit about the character of General Powell, even though he has that one yellow mark on his record. You get it? Yellow mark. Yellow cake. Okay, that was terrible. Anyway, good for General Powell if that's what he did. Okay, I appreciate
He wasn't
that.
easy on me. He's a 4-star general. He said to me, public service isn't easy, but it matters. And he said, why are you doing this? Are you doing it for the right reasons? He said, do you think you can accomplish more good by staying than by leaving? And you brought up one of the points that he drove home to me. He said, fear of making mistakes is a bigger leadership flaw than making mistakes for the right reasons and then having the courage to own them. And that's something that I really took with me, and I really tried to live
mistake?
throughout my tenure as Surgeon General, thanks to General Powell.
Well, his advice was good, but often it's easy to give advice, hard to follow it. And he had followed his own advice. And if anybody needs one thing,
yes, when he decided to vote for Democrats for the rest of since Barack Obama, is that what your great decision is, Chris Cuomo? I bet that's what you meant, isn't it? You jackass.
thing to define why he was relevant politically, find me another man who was coveted as a presidential nominee by both parties. They both wanted him on their tickets to run for president of the United States. There's no one else that I can think of that you can say that about. So just quickly, Jerome, in service to his passing and how he would want it understood, what do you say about the idea that Powell passing while being vaccinated is proof that the vaccination is not necessary?
You know, it's funny. That's a pretty big straw man argument. Is there anyone out there saying that because Powell passed while fully vaccinated, that it proves being vaccinated is unnecessary? Have you heard anyone in media say that? Now, it does make it possible to be skeptical of vaccination. It also says, you know what? Maybe when you have the major comorbidities that General Powell had, you would, it's not going to save your life necessarily, obviously. Okay. But a lot of people bring up the fact that because a lot of people are saying, well, they say it's a COVID death, but he had other major health problems that were probably more of a cause of his death than the fact that they discovered COVID in the last minutes of his life. So that's really bullshit. Anyway, yes, Ken Lee, yellow cake journalism. That was good. Okay, that was good. You did it. Very good. And good morning, by the way. And also good morning to why are you so angry? Okay, so here's Jerome Adams' answer to this stupid question.
Well, it's absolutely untrue, and we've got people out there. Nobody's saying that his death. That's what Chris's question is so off base. Nobody's saying that is proof that you shouldn't be vaccinated. In fact, most people agree that the elderly, the people with comorbidities, the people who are at high risk should be vaccinated. You know what my argument is? I am a COVID survivor. I am one of, now you could say anywhere between 45 million and 90 million, because they don't, I'm watching a video that's saying there's probably, there could be upwards of 90 million cases in the US. I'm one of the tens of the millions of people who have had COVID and survived that you never hear about, who have some form of natural immunity. It's funny because I got even I had not an argument, but we've been discussing this, Lady Boomer and I, and she's a nurse and she's really big on vaccinations. But she also understands that people can gain immunity. Now I was thinking, this morning, when you have, for example, I think there's an immunization for measles, right? That can stop you from getting the measles, and measles has been fairly eliminated. Would you force somebody who already had the measles to be vaccinated with the measles when you know that the antibodies and the production of antibodies from it, from having the disease, are just as effective as being vaccinated? Because you only get measles once, right? Because you become immune to it once you've had it. And there is tons of evidence about the immunity that you gain from recovering from cases of the 19. There's a study out of Israel. 500,000 people in the study, data points, showing that having had the 19 and recovering has a slightly more stronger efficacy of anti-COVID diseases than any of the vaccines. Any of them. And it also has more durability against some of the other strains. Now, it's a slight variance with the best of the vaccines, but it's there. And because it triggers the memory response in B cells, the places where antibodies are produced, it's in the memory of your B cells. So even if your antibodies wane, like they clearly is happening with all of the Fauci juices and non-Fauci juices, all the juices that supposedly are, pretty sure antibodies, right? They're all of them are waning. It's all just, you can see it in the data, right? But not so much with the people who are recovered from the 19. And those B cells, which have a memory, even if those wane, if you get it again, they can already produce those antibodies again. And that's not happening as far as the vaccines. You have to keep getting boosted with the vaccines. So at some point you're thinking, well, maybe, if you only rely on the vaccines, that herd immunity might take longer to come. And also the fact that you have to keep getting boosters. Now, here's the cool thing. And this was what I was listening to Dr. Campbell again this morning. All right, so let's say these people are getting the vaccines, right? And vaccines are great for people, especially people who are vulnerable. People are getting what they're calling the breakthrough cases, right? The breakthrough cases.
which are just cases because they're just, because they're getting it despite having the vaccine. But the people, Dr. Cam was saying, you know what, having both the immunity you get from actually having the disease and along with the vaccine, there's even more of a line of protection, right? So if you get the disease and you have a mild case after you've been, or if you get a case after you have the Fauci juice, you get a mild case after you have had the Fauci juice, that will also trigger the production and fortifying of those B cells. So then you will both have the benefit of both the juice and the natural immunities. The vaccine destroys natural immunities. Not necessarily, but there are more cases of, I'm reading Ken Lee here. There are more cases of, I'm so sorry, Rich. I just read you too. Oh shit! What was I gonna say? Oh, more side effect cases in people who have had prior 19 and getting the vaccine after having the 19. There's a lot more side effect cases, those too. And that's also, and this is just data points. I'm not telling you whether or not, I'm not giving you any medical advice. I'm just telling you what the data points are. Anyway, let's listen to Dr. Powell's answer to this again.
Who are in the vaccine resistant crowd. We've got people who are in the vaccine resistant crowd.
Proof that the vaccination is not necessary.
Nobody's saying that, Chris Cuomo.
Well, it's absolutely untrue. And we've got people out there who are in the vaccine resistant crowd. We've got people who have completely different agendas that have nothing to do with vaccines. And as you mentioned, want to divide us. We really do.
Oh, they want to divide us? Isn't it the president of the United States who claimed that it was the epidemic of the unvaccinated, that we should be segregating? Is it the segregating the unvaccinated? The governor of New York saying, and the mayors of New York City and San Francisco who are actually dividing people based on your status. Are you kidding me? Come on, man. By the way, I saw there was a video. It's a TikTok video or one of those reels or whatever. A guy standing in a place. We'll watch it. In fact, standing in a place where he's saying, "Your vaccination status will not change something that I love you." And interesting seeing some of the reaction. We'll watch that video in a second here. Let's finish with this real quick.
But we've got a lot of people out there who are just prone to react to misinformation, who just need the correct facts. And so to those people out there, to those of you in the movable middle, I want you to know that there have been 7,000 breakthrough deaths since people have been fully vaccinated starting in about January of this year.
Oh, is that all? Since January this year. Notice he goes back to January. You know why he goes back to January? Remember, hardly anyone was vaccinated when you go back to January. If you think that's just for now, you think that number's not going to go up, you're nuts. Remember what happened in Vermont? 76% in September of deaths were people who are fully vaccinated. Now, will that replicate exactly throughout the country? Well, because you got to think about this. Those are mostly elderly people who were vaccinated early. And, the time it takes for some of those people to even get the disease again or the disease the first time might take a while. But the idea that he's going to bring up a number since January. Let's talk about last month. Let's see how the numbers are trending. Telling me what happened since last January when almost nobody was vaccinated doesn't tell me much. Let's see what the trends are.
That's compared to over 300,000 unvaccinated people who've died in this country.
Okay, again, you're comparing numbers from the beginning of the year when almost nobody was vaccinated. How is that trending? Just curious. And I don't, in fact, cases are still going down right now. That helps. And again, I will credit that to both people being vaccinated, people who've had the disease before, and maybe people who don't even know they had it because they were asymptomatic the whole time they had it. We're talking, I think one study says 90 million Americans have already had it. So, but the idea he's going to compare from the beginning of the year till now, when we're just now getting to a status where a large number of people are vaccinated. It's over 50% have had their first jab. 70% I think have had the first jab, and up to 50% are fully vaccinated. That doesn't make any sense because all those people have been since January. They weren't all vaccinated. Not all those people were vaccinated in January. So don't give me a number like that. Wait till we have a trend with people who are vaccinated. Let's see. We'll compare vaccinated versus unvaccinated, whatever. There are going to be a higher percentage of unvaccinated people who die for this, is my guess. But still, that's not a way to look at data. 1,000
to 300,000. These vaccines work. Of those breakthroughs, we know about 6,000 of them reported have been people over the age of 65. As General Powell,
which is what percent?
Reported have been people over the age of 65.
Hang on,
as General Powell was. We know a district to over 300,000 unvaccinated people who've died in this country. 7,000 to 300,000. These vaccines work. Of those breakthroughs, we know about 6,000 of them reported have been people over the age of 65.
So of the 7,000, 6,000. So let's just say it's roughly 70% or 80%. Okay. 60, 70% were over the age of 65. Doesn't that mirror all stupid 19 deaths? Doesn't that mirror almost all? It's about the same percentage as all COVID-19 deaths, isn't it? It's probably pretty close. So what's the point? Does this work? No, it doesn't work. Whatever. We'll fix that later. Survey says exit out.
As General Powell was. We know a disproportionate number of them have been people with comorbidities, as General Powell had.
Same with all the COVID deaths. Everything he's saying doesn't tell you anything different about how COVID works. Doesn't tell you anything different. It's the same with all COVID deaths. It's the vast majority are age, comorbidities, obese. But see, Chris never asked that question.
So he was someone who was primed for a breakthrough infection, and he's someone who did what he was supposed to do. He got vaccinated, but he proves that we can't just say we're only going to protect the vulnerable. We're only going to worry about those people getting vaccinated, and everyone else doesn't matter. We all matter, and the fact is that General Powell died because we didn't take the proper measures to lower spread in this country. We didn't do everything that we could. And there are just some people out there that can do everything right, but they're still going to be.
Whoa, really? That's interesting. That's really interesting. Because you were the Surgeon General of the United States. What didn't we do, Jerome? I'm curious what we didn't do that you should have done, because you were the Surgeon General of the United States of America. And you and Dr. Fauci were on the same team. In fact, the same team in the last administration. Are you claiming that there's something that you didn't do that you're supposed to do? I'm just curious what that was.
In jeopardy if we continue to let this virus run unabated. And that is why herd.
Wait a minute. Whoa. What the hell hell did he just say? If we continue to what?
General Powell died because we didn't take the proper measures to lower spread in this country. We didn't do everything that we could. And there are just some people out there that can do everything right, but they're still going to be in jeopardy if we continue to let this virus run unabated. And that is.
Wait a minute. Are we letting this virus run unabated? What if we're not doing vaccines? We're not doing things. What do you mean we're letting it run unabated? You mean all this bullshit we doing with the social distancing? And I shouldn't say bullshit, but it kind of is. Your mask mandates and this mandate and that mandate. That's just us letting it run unabated. Is that what that is? 15 days to slow the curve or spread the curve, whatever the fuck it was. Originally, it was 15 days to flatten the curve, right? Because just so hospitals weren't overwhelmed. 15 days to flatten the curve. It didn't say 15 days to eliminate all possibilities of this disease being spread. 15 days to flatten the curve so that hospitals wouldn't be overwhelmed. Did we even flatten the curve? And now you're talking about, you're almost acting like you can eliminate, we can defeat COVID-19. We can defeat this disease. Maybe we've known all along that they weren't going to defeat this disease, and the flatten the curve was probably what they meant.
That's why herd immunity is so important. That's why we all need to get the facts.
Why herd immunity is so important? Isn't that, well, wait a minute. Are the people who've already had it part of that herd immunity? You seem to be saying otherwise. It's interesting because the FDA and the CDC kind of say different things on that too. It's interesting if you look up how they do it. But the CDC is, all about vaccinating everybody. One size fits all. Anyway, I'm done with this guy. If it were Thursday, you know what I'd be saying. God. It's fascinating, though, as if, 300,000 deaths of unvaccinated Americans from stupid 19 compared to 7,000 breakthrough deaths of vaccinated people. Again, if you're talking for the beginning of the year, we're just now ramping up to vaccinating a majority of Americans fully. And now let's see how that ratio changes. Anyway, let's move on. I'm just go through the rest of the stories we got here. This is and now they're all in a random order, not necessarily. I said it for you. What did you say? Was it Let's Go Brandon? Oh, FTG. There you go. I got you. All right, let's move on. These are a couple more articles from InfoWars, which I don't usually use InfoWars, just because it's partly because I read InfoWars. I think the people who write for InfoWars do a pretty good job, but because it has a reputation, okay, and even when their factual stories are good, I don't like using it just because it has a reputation, whether earned or not. But these stories are actually pretty good. By the way, thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Who says, "What's up with the brother in a Tucker Carlson bow tie?" Well, thank you for sponsoring the show, Black Hebrew Israelite. You stream labs, I appreciate you. The Pope is weighing in on speech. This is the Pope. Now, this Pope. Oh, by the way.
That's right.
Thank you. I almost forgot Black Hebrew Israelite. It's weird that this Pope seems to be getting into politics and other shit. I think the Pope just needs to worry about blessing people with his holiness and whatnot. But he's gotten into whether or not people should have free speech or not. And the Pope has said he demands that Silicon Valley, the tech companies, in the name of God, censor hate speech and conspiracy theories. Oh my God. The Pope made the remarks during a world meeting of popular movements, a shadowy organization created to promote social justice and fight racism with the help of religious leaders. In the name of God, I ask the technology giants to stop exploiting human weakness, people's vulnerability for the sake of profits without caring about the spread of hate speech, grooming, fake news, conspiracy theories, and political manipulation. Mr. Pope, you are out of your element, sir. Pope Francis also invoked the term post-truth, which was invented by established media organizations after they began to lose their monopoly on controlling the narrative. The narrative following the election of Donald Trump. The Catholic leader apparently believes it's Christian and godly to empower giant corporations to shut down free speech. This is no surprise given his previous stance on free speech in response to the slaughter of the Charlie Hebdo cartoonists, when he rhetorically sided with the terrorist who murdered them in cold blood. As we document in the video below, Pope Francis would surely love to see ban these, the video below, which the Pope Francis would surely love to see ban. The Supreme Pontiff smears his critics as performing the works of the devil. This is kind of a joke video, but anyway, you know what, Pope Francis, how about you stay out of the political lane, and I won't talk about the diddling of kids in the Catholic Church. How does that sound? All right, moving on. Also from InfoWars, conformity to the extreme. Parents are outraged after teachers tape face masks to students' faces. I saw this on Twitter. The parents want answers after teachers at a middle school in Colorado were accused of taping face masks to students' faces. The outrageous incident took place last week at Chinook Trail Middle School in Colorado Springs, where a selfie sent the parent by her 6th grade daughter showed her with blue tape over her face mask above her nose. Speaking to Fox 21 News, the girl's mother, Stephanie, claimed her daughter was barely given an opportunity to comply with the relatively new mask rule. Stephanie explained that her daughter was only given one warning to keep her mask over her nose, or she would need tape to keep it up. The 6th grader told her mom that a couple weeks ago, this new policy went into practice with teachers enforcing it. The mother reportedly uploaded the photo to social media to see if other parents or students had witnessed or experienced similar acts. Another parent was told by a student that teachers walk around class with tape rolls on their wrists waiting to force compliance. Good God. Child abuse, anyone? She said the teachers were wearing masking tape around their wrists like bracelets. Whenever someone's mask would fall down, they would tape them, the parent described. It's sad that our world is coming to this and teachers would think it's okay. According to Stephanie, the tape is dehumanizing. It's a type of restraint to me, she told local media, adding she links it absurd her daughter and other students have come to embrace the mask. Yeah, fuck these people, man. You could read the rest of your sound. I'm disgusted, so I can't read anymore. Moving on. Charges unlikely for bystanders who failed to report a rape, say prosecutors. I don't know if you heard this story. It is very, this is incredible to me. I don't, if I was a witness, I might stomp this guy into the fucking ground. So, bystanders who stood by and failed to help a woman raped on a Philadelphia commuter train last week are unlikely to face criminal charges, local prosecutors said. Now, I don't know how you charge the bystanders. Is there some law that you can charge people who witnessed this and didn't do a damn thing to help the woman? I don't know, but I think just a good beatdown would be fine with me. Closed caption television cameras show that bystanders on the train did nothing as the assault took place, transport officials said. Police had suggested earlier that commuters who may have filmed the incident could be prosecuted. Okay, there we go. That's a start. I figured it out. A man was arrested for the incident and now faces rape charges. The alleged rape took place last Wednesday on a train belonging to Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority, SEPTA. In a statement, SEPTA said that there were other people on the train who witnessed this horrific act, and it may have been stopped sooner if a rider had called 911. I mean, even if it was just calling 911, you would think somebody would think to call 911. And there were people filming it? Wait a minute. They were filming it? I'm sorry. A good head stomping would have been in order to me. Anyway, a SEPTA employee who boarded the train called police, who found the victim and took the suspect into custody. The suspect, identified as 35-year-old Fishton Noy, now faces rape and several other criminal charges. The victim was taken to the hospital and is cooperating with police. At a news conference on Monday, police said they do not believe any of the witnesses called 911 as the woman who was harassed and eventually raped over the course of more than 40 minutes. Are you fucking kidding me? It is unclear how many other passengers were on the train when the incident took place. Investigators are also looking into whether some bystanders filmed the assault as it was taking place. I can tell you that people were holding their phone up in the direction of this woman being attacked. What we want is everyone to be angry and disgusted and be resolute about making the system safer. Safer for who? Good God. I can't believe this. Anyway, they're not going to charge any of the bystanders. Can we just beat the bystanders' ass? Anyway, moving on. Exclusive. An electronics firm has struck a deal. An American electronics firm has struck a deal to transport and hire Uyghur workers. Wait, what? Uyghurs? The people in China who are in concentration camps, labor camps? In Qinzhou, China, U.S. remote control maker Universal Electronics Inc. told Reuters it struck a deal with authorities in Xinjiang to transport hundreds of Uyghur workers to its plant in the southern Chinese city of Qinzhou. The first confirmed instance of an American company participating in a transfer program described by some rights group as forced labor. That's a nice, pretty fancy name for it. Slavery. The NASDAQ-listed firm, which has sold its equipment and software to Sony, Samsung, LG, and Microsoft, and other tech and broadcast companies, has employed at least 400 Uyghur workers from the far western region of Xinjiang as part of an ongoing worker transfer agreement, according to the company and local officials in Xinjiang and Xinjiang government notices and local state media. In at least one instance, Xinjiang authorities paid for a charter flight that delivered the Uyghur workers under police escort. Well, at least they got a police escort. They must have been VIPs. From Xinjiang's Hotan City, where the workers are from, to the UEI plant, according to officials in Xinjiang. And Hotan, interviewed by Reuters. The transfer is also described in a notice posted on an official Xinjiang police social media account in February 2020 at the time of the transfer. Responding to Reuters' questions about the transfer, the UEI spokesman said the company currently employs 365 Uyghur workers at the Xinjiang plant. It said it treated them the same as other workers in China and said it did not regard any of its employees as forced laborers. Oh, does that mean they're paying them? I don't know. Oh, fuck. Yeah, there's a lot more. I'm not going to read anymore, but that's... let's just, I'm sure it helps their bottom line. And how do you even, here's the thing, how do you boycott a company like that when they're selling components to all these different companies? Not easy at all. So holy fuck. Yeah. FTW, fuck the world on that one. All right, let's keep going. More news in Philly, and this is I didn't even get this from Gunfox, but Mark Skila staffer, I don't know what that Skila staffer charged in South Philly voter fraud conspiracy. Oh no, there is no voter fraud. I'm sure this is just a misunderstanding. On Tuesday, Jennifer Arbiter Williams, the acting U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania, filed federal charges against 67-year-old South Philadelphia resident Marie Barrett, allegedly that she participated in a voter fraud scheme from 2015 to 2019 in 3 voting divisions in South Philadelphia. Really? There's corruption in Philadelphia? I don't believe this. Williams charged Barron, a staff for Philadelphia City Council member Mark Skila, with 4 counts of voter fraud and related offenses, including conspiracy. According to prosecutors, the conspiracy involved Barron and an individual currently identified in the complaint only as consultant number one, who is described as a former elected official who held himself out as an effective and successful political operative capable of ensuring his client's electoral success. I wonder how you do that. How do you ensure their electoral success? The consultant reportedly Ozzie Myers, the former Philly politician with a very storied and problematic history. That consultant exercised influence and control in Philadelphia's 39th Ward by distributing cash payments, they paid people off, and supporting family, friends, and allies for elective office in the 39th Ward and installing ward leaders, judges of elections, and Democratic State Committee. The complaint alleges. The feds say the consultant recruited and installed Barron as a committee person for the Democratic Party in South Philadelphia's 39th Ward in approximately 1984. 4 years later, that same consultant recruited Barron to serve as a judge of elections for the 35th Ward's 2nd Division. A judge of elections essentially being the person in charge of a polling place during the primary and general elections. In this case, that polling place was located at the Seafarers Union Hall at 4th and Shunk Streets. 2 other divisions, the 11th and 16th, vote at the same location. As feds put it, Barron was the de facto judge of elections for all 3 divisions. Let's see. She stepped down as judge, She stepped down as a judge to become a poll watcher. She installed a replacement, prosecutors say. And according to the federal government, Barron continued to effectively run all 3 divisions located at the Seafarers Union Hall from 2015 through at least 2019, even though she was no longer officially in charge. And in 2015 is when the alleged conspiracy begins. The government claims that the consultant in question directed Barron to add fraudulent votes to candidates supported by the consultant. Well, wait a minute. How could she do that? I'm confounded. In some cases, the candidate were clients of the consultant. The prosecutors say that these fraudulent votes were cast for candidates at every level of government, from municipal to state to federal. Very fascinated. When election day came around, the consultant would drive Barron to the polling place in the morning, giving her instructions along the way. According to the feds, Barron perpetuated the voter fraud in a variety of ways. She would allegedly advise in-person voters how to vote, a violation of election law. She allegedly cast fraudulent votes herself in place of voters she knew wouldn't be coming to the polls. I wonder how she knew they weren't coming. And the government doesn't make it clear how she knew they wouldn't show up. The government also alleges that she would encourage and permit in-person voters to vote on behalf of absent family members, steering those voters in support of the consultant candidates of choice. Well, you know what? It's funny because they always talk about, there's no widespread voter fraud. Exactly how much voter fraud do you need to affect an election? I'm just curious. Does it have to be widespread, or can it be very targeted? I'm just curious. I'm just asking questions. I am not making any conclusions. You can read the rest of that one yourself. There's not much left. A couple more and then we'll get out of here. Let's see. In Chicago, a museum has, now this is older news, a couple days ago. A museum has fired all of its mostly white female, financially well-off, I think it's supposed to be volunteers, for lack of diversity. Docents, whatever docents are. Docents at the Art Institute of Chicago were disappointed after they were fired. The Art Institute of Chicago fired all of its trained volunteers and guides last month, who were mostly older white women. They didn't tell you why in the headline. The why is so that they could diversify their team. I guess it said that. We were surprised. We were disappointed. Gigi Vaffis, president of the Docent Council, said in an interview with radio station WBEZ of the firings. There's an army of very highly skilled docents who are willing and ready and able to continue with arts education. The Art Institute used to have more than 100 docents, 82 of whom were active, until executive director. These are volunteers who go out and give tours, I guess. Volunteer tour guides. Thank you, Asian Research Directorate. The Art Institute used to have more than 100 docents, 82 of whom were active until an executive director of learning and engagement, Veronica Stein, sent an email on September 3rd firing them all. The Wall Street Journal reported docents are trained volunteers who lead tours of museums, and at the Art Institute, they averaged 15 years of unpaid service. So these were volunteers. The firings were apparently sparked by the fact that most of the docent staff was composed of older, white, I'm sorry, I got lost my place. Older, white, financially well-off women, the outlet reported. Stein said that the museum needed to take a new path, quote, in a way that allows community members of all income levels to participate, responds to issues of class and income equity, whenever you see the word equity, run, and does not require financial flexibility. Thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Who says Jimmy from Philly Wiped is back on the air.
That's right.
He was targeted for being a wiped male that preached about wipeness.
That's right.
I was very careful to enunciate what I was saying there. Thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite, for sponsoring the show again. So look, now the docents, okay, they were sent a letter, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. The docents sent a letter on September 13th detailing the staff's engaged in 18 months of twice-a-week training to qualify as a docent, 5 years of continual research and writing to meet the criteria of 13 museum content areas, and monthly and bi-weekly trainings to further educate ourselves with the materials, processes, and cultural context of the museum's pieces. It was nearly a full-time job, Dietrich Claiborne, a docent since 2012, told the Wall Street Journal. We had spent a lot of time physically in the museum, studying works of art, researching, and putting tours together. We had to be very comprehensive about everything as we talked with them, moving through space, he said. Claiborne was the only docent who speak on the record of the Wall Street Journal after the museum reportedly requested they not speak to the media. Who's going to stop them from speaking to the media if you fired them? Who cares? You're not their boss. Fuck you. Did they sign a confidentiality agreement? I doubt it. They're volunteers who talk about art and take the time to learn about art and care about it enough to be able to tell other people about it. And you basically fired them from an unpaid position so that you could be more diverse. Well, guess what? If people wanted to do that job that were more diverse, they would come volunteer. But now see what they're going to do is they're going to pay people who are more diverse to do a job that people were doing very well. But Claiborne was black too. She's mad. She ain't happy about this. Anyway, this is crazy. You can read the rest of that shit later. All right, let me get these last couple. We got to go. This is funny. This is from a blog called Yid with a Lid, or it calls it the Lid now. It used to be the Yid with a Lid. Climate crazies claim global stilling. Have you heard of this term yet? Global stilling? Global stilling. They claim that global stilling at fault for wind turbines not producing enough energy. The far left Gaia worshippers, Gaia as in the planet, the female name, says that the climate crisis is responsible for floods, drought, forest fires, hurricanes, tsunamis, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions. A longer list of crazy things being blamed on climate change is at the end of this post. Their latest crazy belief is that their unproven hypothesis caused the slowing of global wind speeds. Is there nothing that climate change does not affect? Industry experts are warning that climate change may have caused wind speeds in Europe to plummet this year. In in news that threatens to drive energy prices even higher. Long labeled as a savior of the energy industry, wind farms have cropped up across the continents in recent years and have been billed as low-cost, renewable, dependable source of power. Experts are blaming a growing phenomenon known as global stilling, whereby measurable wind speeds across the world's continental surfaces has decreased by as much as 15% since 1980. Oh, global stilling is a growing phenomenon. Sure it is. Okay, so I thought warming temperatures would cause more winds, more hurricanes, more climate damage. Yeah, volcanic eruptions. Yes, it's the everything that can go wrong. And we're not talking about the Irish proverb here. Everything that can go wrong is because of climate change. Everything. Get it through your head. Everything. You get more toe fungus, climate change. Your grandma gets rickets, climate change. The volcanoes erupt in St. Louis, climate change. There's a water spout out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, climate change. Justin Bieber's tour is a flop, climate change. You name it, climate change. Everything. Everything. In fact, here's some of the list. Here's the list. Okay, here's a list of things. We're going to end with this. The other articles out here, South Pole has its most severe cold season on record, an anomaly in a warming world. Oh, this is the Seattle Times. Coldest years on record, all 80 years of an actual record, or what is it? Yeah, about 80 years of a decent record. 80 years out of 10,000 years that humans have been on the earth. Yes, we can tell how the world is changing from 80 years of that record. But anyway, here's some things that have been, what is the other ones? I already gave this. Oh, they're talking about separating children from their anti-vax parents, as this is some fucking communist bullshit. Also, people are hoarding because of the possible supply chain crunch. And then ACEs, I'll take that out. All right, let's finish up this article and we're out of here, because I'm going to just name some things that we have been blamed on climate change. And if you go to this story, which will be in the link down below in the description in the second paragraph, there's a link to every single one of these 66 things that have been caused by climate change. Okay, here we go. The Arab Spring, climate change. Incredible shrinking sheep. Is that something in New Zealand? Climate change. Destruction of Afghan poppies. Climate change. Invasion of jellyfish in the Mediterranean. Climate change. A surge in fatal shark attacks. Climate change. Boy Scout tornado deaths. Climate change. Severe acne. Climate change. Global conflict. Climate change. Beer tasting bad. Climate change. Oh, but better beer also. Climate change. Suicide of farmers in Australia. Climate change. End of the American dream. Climate change. Bigger tuna fish. Climate change. French fish shrinkage. Is that a metaphor for something on Seinfeld? Climate change. Longer days, climate change. Shorter days, climate change. Collapse of gingerbread houses in Sweden, climate change. Cow infertility, climate change. UFO sightings in the UK, climate change. Shortage of hookers in the UK, climate change. There's a story. I'm telling you, every one of these things has a link in this article. Oh, we might just do a whole show on just things that have been climate change has caused. Shortage. Okay, I already said shortage of hookers in the UK because of climate change. Rise in insurance premiums, climate change. Heroin addiction, climate change. Bear attacks in Japan, climate change. Frigid cold winters in Great Britain, climate change. Cancer, climate change. Death from heart disease, diabetes, stroke, respiratory disease, and even accidents, climate change. Homicide, suicide, climate change. Coffee in Uganda, climate change. Doggy depression. I'm going to stop saying climate change because it'll take me all day if I keep doing it. Waterborne disease outbreaks. Bad relations with Russia. A decline in circumcision in Africa. Oh my gosh, it's too hot to cut a piece of his dick off. Anyway, heavier, wetter snowstorms, treacherous for travel and ambulation. Lyme disease, swarms of allergy-inducing stinging insects, along with mosquitoes and devastating pine bark beetle infestations, and the spread of forest and crop pests. Climate change. Tigers eating people. Climate change. Fewer geese. Climate change. 40,000 dead crabs. In some circles, that would be a good thing. Shorter, higher-pitched frog mating calls in the Middle East. That's very specific. Screwed up lovemaking. Climate change. Yeah, because someone's a frigid bitch. Anyway, Japanese earthquake, tsunami, climate change. Horrible rash of tornadoes in the southeast United States. Climate change. Hello, Brad Young. Hello, Lowrider. Extended severe allergy seasons, Lyme disease, malaria, dengue fever, trauma, depression, high blood pressure, and heart disease. Climate change. Eating disorders. Climate change. An increased threat of wars, violence, and military actions against the UK. That's pretty specific again. Climate change. Migration of possibly rabid vampire bats from Mexico. Climate change. Extreme weather, disappearing islands, and less productive workdays. Climate change. Giant snakes. Climate change. Armed robbery, prostitution, and drug abuse in Ghana will make you go nuts because of climate change. There's a kind of a theme of the hookers and prostitution that are having to deal with the climate change. I don't get it. The rise of terrorist groups like Boko Haram caused the Seychelles snail to go extinct. It's alive and well, by the way. Rock snot. I don't know what rock snot is, but that's because of climate change. Increased anxiety, fear, and depression. Expensive olives, cannibals. No more red-haired people. Women will become pear-shaped, incontinent, impotent, bald guys, and extra hair growing from their toes. All due to climate change. Global cooling. Climate change. The sinking of the Titanic was climate change. Illegal immigration, climate change. Prostitution, climate change. There it is again. More prostitution, hookers, prostitution. Go hookers. ISIS, climate change. Walrus convention. A walrus convention because of climate change. Shrinking goats. Shrinking goats. Shrinking goats. Climate change. Diabetes, climate change. Brexit. England left the EU because of climate change. Is that what it is? It will make us crazy, climate change. And finally, today's story, global stilling, which is why your wind-powered windmills or the windmill electrical power thingies in the Europe aren't producing enough power. Hey, they're doing just fine in freaking Iowa, okay? But that's because there's always wind in the rolling hills of Iowa. Plus, it's in that part of the jet stream that works for running windmills. So there you go. Anyway, all of those things because of climate change. Shrinking peanuts is an epidemic in America. Is it? Is that a peanut? I don't know what that means. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, on that very light-hearted note, I'd like to thank you for all being here today. Before you go anywhere, click the like button. There's 26 likes, 31 people here still. There should be like 33 likes because some of you left. Anyway, hit the like button, share the stream anytime, day or night, before, during, after the show. If you're watching on replay, put a comment in the comment section so that I know you were here and I can say hi back. And finally, if you want to sponsor the show, like Gunfox61, Tarai Deo, Scotty Dubs, and Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
You can do that with, there's ways to do it in the description. You can do it during the show on Streamlabs and or at PDawgKnight.live. If you watch the show on PDawgKnight.live, it'll be right at the top of the page. And you can watch the show and you can chat all in one fine experience. And that is that. So, people, I'm here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. For the Morning Night Live, I will do a makeup show for yesterday sometime, either in the afternoon this week or maybe on the weekend or whatever. I'll figure it out. But that's it for today, people. Good morning, Random American. Good morning, 3-4 Yoda. And I think I said hi to Renee Mayette, a.k.a. Let's Go Brandon. Y'all have a wonderful day. I got to go. My name is PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here. Bye. Have a great day. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel.
If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.